You are logged on and listening to the Computer Corner radio show, brought to you by Computer Corner, your local resource for computer hardware, software, services, and training since 1983. Computer Corner is high-tech with a human touch. This is Phil Shortell, your host and the lead instructor at Computer Corner, and with me here today, as is the norm, are both the owners of Computer Corner, Carol and Joe Petronovich, and good morning to you.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Hey, if your vectors are vicious, you have a virulent virus, or you're vacillating about vaporware, if you have computer problems or questions, we're here to help answer those questions.
We're very excited to have my husband Joe on the show today with us. He has over 35 years of computer experience under his belt, so if you have hardware questions, even on older computers, Joe can definitely answer them.
And if you have software questions, I have over 35 years of experience with software, so I hope I can answer those questions
I
for
hope
you.
so, too.
Me too. Yeah.
And I'm here mostly to keep these guys out of trouble.
What do you mean?
But actually, for 35 years, I've been the primary salesperson for many of our government contracts at Computer Corner, and I have a vast amount of product knowledge to offer you, and I have a lot of opinions about what products I like as well. Anyway, we appreciate all of you listening today, and many thanks to our loyal clients, too. None of us, not Phil, not Joe, not I, nor Computer Corner would be here without you.
If you haven't been down to see Computer Corner's new location, we're at 3101 Manal Northeast, about 2 blocks west of Carlisle on the north side of the street, next to the Candlewood Suites and Napoli Coffee.
So you can also call Computer Corner at 881-2333. We are open today until 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, we're open from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. for service and sales, both. And at Computer Corner, we offer all the major brands of computer hardware and software. We've also trademarked our own brand of computer under the name Equus, which is EQUUS, so you can have a custom-built computer that's perfect for you. Most of the time, they're even ready within minutes.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing the way that works. Today, we're going to talk to you about computer resolutions.
These are things you should be doing all the time anyway.
Probably the most important thing you can do in terms of computer resolutions is backing up your data.
If you don't know how to back up your data or you're looking for options about what to use and what to do, you can come talk to one of our friendly staff at Computer Corner. We'd be happy to talk to you about what is best for you based on the size of your hard drive, the importance of the data to you, all of that, and of course, what's easiest for you.
Mm-hmm.
Whether your computer's having hardware issues or you've gotten a virus or you're stuck with ransomware, or if you're just in the market for a new computer and want an easy access to your old computer's data, please back up your data before you bring it into us or talk to our personnel and we can take care of that for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I got to say, we had this happen in Computer Corner just this week. A customer of ours got a virus on their desktop, and she had been writing a book, and she'd been writing this book for 2 years and never backed up her data. And she brought it into us, and we are doing our best to try and get this data recovered. We actually had to send it off to a place called Drive Savers, where they forensically retrieve the data by opening up the hard drive itself and reading the platters. And we're hoping to get that data back for her.
That is an expensive process.
It is.
Yeah.
It's thousands of dollars normally. She, of course, is upset because she's lost 2 years of work, but she never backed up her
curiously enough, yesterday I did a house call for Computer Corner at somebody who had backed up their data properly using Carbonite, and they got a new computer and they restored it properly using Carbonite, but she couldn't find any of it. And so I helped her find it.
Very nice.
And now she's, I hope, happy. And I hope listening, too. But I will not mention a name.
So data backup is really important. And if you can come into Computer Corner and talk to somebody about it, that's great. I also wrote a blog about it on our website. So you can go to www.compcorner.com, look through my blogs, and look for Back It Up, Buddy. And you will find the information on backup system.
Yep.
So another resolution should be to change all your passwords at least once a month, and don't use the same password on multiple sites. I know it's hard to remember a whole bunch of the passwords, so you may want to use a password manager.
I actually use a product that's free. It's called LastPass. We don't sell it. We don't make anything from this. It's free, as I said, which keeps track of all my passwords and even offers to automatically change them for me periodically. But I want to point out something about Carol's once-a-month password change resolution. That's a good resolution, and you should go ahead and make it. But if you slip to changing those passwords once a quarter or even just twice a year, I'll bet that's more often than most of you are doing now, and that would be a good thing.
So also, be sure that your virus protection is up to date. We recommend Kaspersky Antivirus at Computer Corner, and not the free version, the paid version, and we do sell that at Computer Corner. We think it's the best antivirus on the market for home and small business right now. Maybe a different solution for a large enterprise, government, or something like that, but we definitely recommend Kaspersky for small business and home users. Also, make sure that you're not running multiple antivirus programs because they will interfere with each other, that's for sure.
Fight.
More is not better.
That's right. Every so often, I need to go do an Adobe update, like Adobe Flash or something like that. And I merrily click away. And I also forget that Adobe wants you to install McAfee and that it will do it automatically unless you tell them you don't want it. I can't tell you how many times I've had to then go in and remove McAfee.
Yeah, this comes back to the old adage of read the message on the screen.
Yes, I know.
You know, I will talk about my cousin briefly here for a second.
Sure.
She always calls me with problems on the computer, and she said, I got a message, and I clicked on it, and then something happened. What did the message say?
I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't read it.
Yeah.
Okay? Read the messages. Another resolution for you would be to promise yourself not to go clicking on links to outlandish stories.
It's tempting.
It is. No matter how enticing that article may seem. Even the story I read yesterday, Dave Barry's blog, about how it's raining iguanas in Florida, which is actually seems to be true and funny, I guess, to everyone except the iguanas. Even links to ads from reputable news sites can take you to another site, and eventually you could get hit on an infected page, and then an iguana could fall on you. No, but you could bring that infection to your computer.
You have such a unique sense of humor there, Phil.
I thought it was fun. I read the article on Dave Barry, and it was funny. They had pictures.
They were actually falling out of trees because of the cold.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they were falling asleep kind of thing and just plop.
Poor little guys.
Some of them aren't that little.
Oh, that's true.
An iguana can grow to 6 feet in length.
That's true. I'm thinking of the little ones that you see in pet stores,
Right.
but yeah, they do get big. So anyway, back to our topic. Hackers can hack into an unprotected website too, and they can plant viruses and malware. So this can especially happen with websites that are developed by an inexperienced person, of course. And let's face it, almost anyone can build a simple website these days, but they may not know how to set security levels.
Yeah.
And this is actually how I got a virus from a website while I was looking for recipes online.
Okay, of course, resolve to never click on any pop-ups or respond in any way to phone calls or pop-ups on your screen that are prompting you to call the support line to fix your computer or internet speed. These are essentially all scams.
We can't really emphasize that enough. Don't trust these pop-ups and phone calls and things.
Mm-hmm.
So our final resolution is for you to get a good surge protector. And I'm not talking about the $9 one or the one that came free with your last dishwasher or whatever, I don't know, your last appliance, but a good one. It needs to be rated for the equipment that you have plugged into it.
So if you have just a computer and monitor, it would be a certain model. But if you have a computer, a monitor, and a laser printer, it would be a different model. And depending upon what all is in your computer and how large your laser printer is, it could be yet another model.
And surge protection's rated by the number of joules, Joules, which is a unit of energy.
Which, for those of you who are interested, is equal to the energy dissipated as heat when an electric current of 1 ampere passes through a resistance of 1 ohm for 1 second.
Ooh,
Or if
that sounds
some of those
pretty,
terms confuse you, they all come from French, by the way. Ampere is the French word for stepfather. Resistance is how the French fought the Nazis. Ohm is the sound a French monk makes while chanting. And second is the person who puts the sheet over a Frenchman who loses in a duel.
Although your first statement is correct, Phil.
Sure.
I think perhaps we should stick to the software for the rest of this discussion.
Okay.
Moving on, I recommend buying a model that's rated at a minimum of 1,000 joules. The higher the better. I also recommend a model that has a clamping voltage of 400 volts or fewer because that's an indicator of how fast your surge protection will clamp down. The longer it takes, which we call brownouts, the more likely that your equipment will become damaged from a surge or strike.
Yeah,
Right.
just for the record, I had no intention of touching clamping voltage.
Clamping voltage.
No. I'm Phil Shortell here with Carol and Joe, the co-owners of Computer Corner. We wanted to bring Larry on. Larry,
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, thank you so much for your call. What can we do for you?
Well, I live in a fringe area for cell phone reception, but my computer data comes over that cell phone reception. So outside the house, I get a good signal. Inside the house, it's a weak signal. And I have a tower, which, an interior little receiver, which does my home phone plus my computer data. Now, I've been told I need to get a repeater, but I can't understand why repeating a weak signal is going to strengthen it. And my question is there an outside antenna that you can attach to increase the data and the voice bars?
There probably is. You're getting the signal to your cell phone, which then drives your in-house computers, right?
Yes,
you're running
it's
a
tower
yeah.
that services the home phone as well.
Yeah, talk to Verizon or whoever you got your cell phone from. They've got an external antenna because your home is probably Adobe, or is it Adobe?
It's brick with a metal roof.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah. You're going to need something external. Repeater's not going to help you at all. I'm surprised somebody
That's what
gave
I
you that
thought.
answer. Your phone company provider will know what to do. And
Okay.
that's all you need. And that wire, just an antenna brought into the house, plugged into probably your router inside your house. That's all you need to do.
Yeah, and I remember actually going to a client who had an external antenna. They were pretty far out. So, but that's not the kind of product that we actually carry in stock. That's a phone company issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very good.
Thanks for your help.
Thank you for your call, Larry. We appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And Larry's probably not alone because we've got a lot of people that live in rural New Mexico that don't have, any kind of good coverage, really.
Yeah, I actually have a metal roof on my house, but I have no issue. Well, I'm also coming in from a wire, so why would I have an issue?
And the only reason
Rancho.
I brought up the Adobe was because we've had cases where people cannot get wireless from room to room.
Right.
And we find out their home is Adobe or some.
Or it's on the other side of the bathroom, which is all tiled.
Yeah.
Something like that,
Yeah, that happens all the time to people. Mark called, and Mark, you're on the air, and how can we help?
And Joe, it's good to hear your voice. Very
Thank you. I never hear my voice, so I don't know how to respond to that. So.
I hear your voice quite frequently. We're happy to have him on the show.
Yes, I just want to ask Joe to let people know that it's really not a scam that you need to replace surge protectors periodically, because I have a real hard time getting folks to believe that just because it looks fine doesn't mean that it's still good.
Right.
No, you're exactly right. After every hit, it degrades the quality of that clamping voltage and the speed. So you're exactly right. It's a good call.
So I actually had an acquaintance who used to live up in the canyon and had a home-based business up there. In the canyon, they get more lightning strikes and things than we do in the city. And I've told this story on the air a few times, but her computer was actually, there was lightning that struck the ground outside her home and caused a surge in her computer. But more surges happened, and she had both a UPS and a surge protector. But by the time all of this happened, not only was her surge protection totally dead, but her motherboard, her CPU, the processor inside her computer, and a number of other things were actually fried, literally,
It
in
is
her
entirely
computer.
possible around here for lightning to strike twice in the same place.
Yeah, and if you're not home and something like that happens and you don't even know about it,
Right.
your surge protector could be disabled and you would have no protection.
Yeah, the first strike takes out the surge protector. The second strike took out the UPS, and the third strike
Sure.
took out
Yeah.
everything else.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't know what's a good measure of time to replace these. I think it just depends on where you live and how familiar you are with what's been going on with your weather.
Okay, thank you very much for the call, Mark. Is there anything else we can do for you?
Nope, thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye. John, thank you so much for calling and waiting. And what can we do for your computer safety today?
I heard what you said about surge protectors being degraded. I've got a couple of UPS systems that are pretty husky. Do they get degraded by lightning strikes?
They do, but not as quickly, mostly because you've got an isolation transformer in those things that's just, anybody's familiar with transformers, just a big hunk of coiled wire. You're isolating everything beyond that from the lightning, so it's got to do some very serious damage to the point where it just doesn't work anymore. You're better off with a UPS, I've always told people, than just a surge strip. A surge strip to me is just a place to plug multiple things into. I really...
It's better than nothing.
But if you've got a very expensive 60, 80, 90-inch TV and entertainment system, buy a good, high-quality, very big battery capacity UPS.
And they even make whole house UPSs
house.
Sure.
too, which are going to cost you more, but they're going to protect everything.
Yeah.
The other thing about a UPS is that usually they have some sort of monitoring device. So if they are failing, they'll give you some sort of warning. Usually it's a beeper or lights, all kinds of things. So you can trust that a UPS is going to be a better choice
The
for you.
one main drawback with a UPS is that battery's going to go out in 2 or 3 years. They're not cheap, they're very heavy, and it just has to be done. It's still better than buying a brand new one.
And there's
Well, I had to replace a battery about 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if I should have just replaced the UPS.
Not necessarily.
No, I would say if you get 3 or 4 or 5 years out of your UPS and you've changed a couple batteries, then move on to the next one because the technology is going to change and get better anyway.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Sherry, thank you for your call. What can we do?
Thank you. Good morning. I wanted to find out exactly the web address for Hitman Pro, and could you run through real quick how often you run Hitman Pro and MalwareBytes? And also, I get this pop-up usually a couple times a week, and it says Microsoft.net in all capital letters framework, and the message says an unidentified something or other. I just close the box, but I keep getting it.
Okay, so there's actually lots of things going on in your question there. But first of all, I want to tell everybody out there that at Computer Corner, we recommend 3 products. One is Kaspersky Antivirus, the other one is Hitman Pro, and the last one is MalwareBytes. They all do slightly different things, but they work very well together. And once again, I've written a blog about this. You can find the Computer Corner website at www.compcorner.com. It explains a little bit more about why these 3 work well together. But each one does a little bit different thing. And to your point, they're all software products. And Sherry, I run Hitman Pro, especially after I've gotten any kind of weird pop-up. I run it immediately, but I run it routinely at least once a week. Sometimes when I'm out on the internet a lot, I run it once a day.
Okay.
So it won't hurt to run it once a day.
Right.
Okay.
So MalwareBytes is another product. I don't run it as frequently. I run it about once a week.
Okay.
And it will root out cookies and malware and things like that. Joe?
I might mention on MalwareBytes, if you get it and install it, do not have it launch and be active all the time. It'll slow your computer down. Just launch it whenever you need to.
Okay.
It'll ask you that in some form or another, but just have it as a standalone whenever you need to run it.
Okay.
So both Hitman Pro and MalwareBytes, when you launch them, they go out to their website and utilize some tools within their site to check your computer. And that's different, a little bit different than what Kaspersky does. But that's why you don't want it launching all the time while you're right in the middle of something.
Right.
And so you don't want to set it to automatically run unless it's at night or something like that. But I would launch those and run those periodically.
Hitman may clean up your problem when you get into your browser.
Okay.
I would try that first.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Hey, Sherry, thank you for your call, and thank you for listening. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Now, she had one more question or comment, and I can't remember what it was.
The extension she was getting in her browser.
Okay.
Okay. Net framework.
Got it.
Okay.
So we did cover it.
Ryan, thank you so much for your call. How you doing today?
Yeah, pretty good. Actually, it's Brian. Okay.
But okay, Brian, thank you.
How can we help you today?
Yes, my question is every now and then I get a message when I'm starting up my computer. It says client server not signed in, insufficient memory to process action. It seems to work perfectly all right, even if I don't do anything. And there's this little block that you click on, says OK, and so I'm just trying to figure out what it is that's trying to tell me.
Are you on an in-house network?
No, it's a home computer. It's the only computer that's on it, and that's why I don't understand this client-server thing.
At some point in time, somebody linked you to a domain.
Okay.
I guess I don't know what you're telling me then.
In other words, your computer thinks it is connected to a network somewhere. What I'm going to suggest to you, Brian, is that you copy that message down and send it to us in an email to radioshow@compcorner.com, and we'll take a look at it right away and see if we can figure out what's going on for you for sure.
Was it ever?
I'm wondering if a long time ago my daughter was here and she had a Wi-Fi thing for the house, and she had that connected at one time. But other than that, It's always just been a standalone computer.
She may have been connecting to another workplace computer.
Or a university or something like
Or
that.
university, logging into the desktop there from that device.
But that was years ago.
Computers never forget.
Okay.
But again, copy down that message for us. Actually, if you can take a screenshot of it, that would be the best bet. And email it to radioshow, one word, RADIOSHOW, at compcorner, one word, COMPCORNER.com. We'll take a look at it and see if we can come up with something.
Yeah, and I'll have Chris, our service manager, get back to you probably on Monday on this thing anyway.
Yeah, okay, great. It is one of your computers, your X
very nice.
computer.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, and we'll see what we can do for you, Brian.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
David, thank you for your call. You're on the air. How can we help you?
Hi, well, this one's not quick, but it's on the uninterruptible power supplies, if I said that correctly.
You did.
Let me attack this at a kind of an oblique angle rather than getting to the final question. Like I said it's not a simple question, but first of all, what is the purpose of UPS?
Purpose of a UPS is your wall voltage is 110 volts. P&M tries to be around that area, but if they get a surge through that line to 130, 140, 150 or more, or the voltage drops to 60, 70, or 80, you do a lot of damage to your equipment.
But the other thing is, because of the battery and everything else, it will keep your computer up even if the power goes off. So depending on what type of UPS you get, how much you pay, all of the things that we talked about, it will give you, if you're working on your computer and you've got files open, it will keep your computer up long enough for you to at least close your files down and save them. So that's a good question. Thank you.
On the first part of your answer there, the protection aspect, so it protects you from transient voltages, basically, or transient current. Let me be more general. Then, if you do get a transient current, and you're using your computer, or your UPC is plugged in, the transient current should not take out the UPC.
It might take out the UPC, but it's not going to take out your equipment past it.
Okay, so the UPC is, assuming there's not a surge protector upstream of the UPC, your UPC acts as a surge protector, but it destroys the equipment in the process of dealing with any transient current.
If the spike is big enough to take out your UPS, yes, it will destroy it. But you've saved your thousands of dollars in multimedia equipment, your computer, your printers, and everything else downline.
When the products are the UPC products sold in their directions, the product directions, product manuals, are they telling you to not use the UPC without using a surge protector upstream?
No, they are doing that job as well, David.
You know, years ago we used to sell, what were those UPSs we used to sell?
I can't even...
Panamax.
Yeah.
Panamax
I bought one of them.
Yeah, made surge strips that had lifetime warranties on them. If they fried, you sent it in, you got a new one. I think they still have that warranty.
Well, a lot of the UPSs out there also come with a product warranty, not just for the UPS itself.
Insurance.
But it's an insurance policy of sometimes up to $100,000 that
for all the
if your equipment is damaged, they will pay to replace. They can't replace the data, of course, but they could pay to replace some of your equipment. So it's a really good idea to read a lot about and research a UPS and decide what is best for you, depending on what your needs are.
When the current
UPS
are sold, are they clearly directing the consumer to not use their product without a surge protector?
No.
Well, here's why they wouldn't. If you make the assumption that you're protected by using a power supply, whatever, without a surge protector, if you assume you're protected, then what you have is a $200, $300 surge protector in the form of a UPS, right?
Well, you have a more expensive surge protector, but again, as Carol pointed out, it serves another purpose as well.
Right.
It allows you time to close your files, maybe even finish what you were just typing, and then shut down normally until things come back.
Let me clarify something here first. We're talking about two different things that are kind of the same. One is a UPS, one is a surge strip. A UPS can be a surge strip. A surge strip cannot be a UPS.
Thank you for your call, David. Bye-bye. Here in studio today are both Joe and Carol Petronovich, and yours truly, Phil Shortell.
Something funny. This is an oldie but a goodie in the computer industry. A number of years ago, Bill Gates reportedly compared the computer industry with the auto industry and stated if Ford had kept up with technology like the computer industry has, we would all be driving $25 cars that got 1,000 miles to the gallon. And then what happened was, in response to Bill's comments, Ford issued a press release stating a couple of different interesting things. Phil, you want to take one?
Yeah, well, one of the things they said, if Ford built cars like Microsoft built Windows, for no reason whatsoever, your car would crash twice a day.
And then every time they repainted the lines in the road, you would have to buy a new car.
Okay. Occasionally, your car would die on the freeway for no reason. You would have to pull to the side of the road, close all the windows, shut off the car, restart it, and reopen the windows before you could continue. For some reason, you would simply accept this.
Occasionally, executing a maneuver such as a left turn would cause your car to shut down and refuse to restart, in which case you would have to reinstall the engine.
Macintosh would make a car that was powered by the sun, was reliable, 5 times as fast and twice as easy to drive, but would run on only 5% of the roads.
Right.
I love that one.
That's a good one, yeah.
The oil, water temperature, and alternator warning lights would be all replaced by a single, "This car has performed an illegal operation" warning light.
The airbag system would ask, "Are you sure?" before deploying.
Occasionally, for no reason whatsoever, your car would lock you out and refuse to let you in until you simultaneously lifted the door handle, turned the key, and grabbed a hold of the radio antenna.
Every time a new car was introduced, car buyers would have to learn how to drive all over again because none of the controls would operate in the same manner as the old car.
And finally, you'd have to press the start button to turn the engine off.
We just thought that would be a little bit of humor to throw at you. Again, as Carol said, it's an old one, but it is certainly a
It
good
makes
one.
you laugh every time because, yeah, we do accept a lot of issues with Windows just as everyday occurrences, and maybe we shouldn't.
Paul, thank you very much for calling. What can we do for you?
Yeah, I'd just like to give some insight into the issue of UPSs and surge protectors. Many years ago, I worked in a remote location where we had redundant power supplies, i.e. generators that generated the power for our facilities. And this was in the early days of PCs. We had tons of these things just dying because their motherboards got fried, and that brought us to UPS. And so we bought, at that time, those were about $700, $800.
Oh, yeah.
We bought them, and then they got fried. So then our electrical engineer who designed the grid said, well, you need surge protectors to protect the UPSs. So we bought them, and all the problems stopped.
That's a good story. And actually...
So the UPS is plugged into the wall. The surge protector is plugged into the wall, and the UPS is plugged into the surge protector. It's how we got everything to work.
So the issue could still be that your surge protector could get hit, and then your UPS could also. But you've got that extra layer of protection there. The other thing is that
the surge protectors only cost $15.
Right.
Sure. And they still, a good one is between $15 and $30, let's say. But most of the UPS manufacturers also sell surge protectors. So I'm pretty sure they're going to recommend you buy both anyway.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think it's a good idea.
It's not a bad idea. Our point that we were making was that it is not required.
Yeah.
Now, and I understand that you would lose the UPS, and Joe actually said that if you get a big enough strike, the UPS can go.
Well, back then we didn't know any better.
Yeah.
And,
we've all learned.
So we had to learn this by experience.
Sure.
It cost us a lot of motherboards. Basically, threw them away.
Yeah.
Threw the PCs away because of the damage. This was a power source that went up and down. Whenever, like, 100 horsepower electric motor was started up, we'd get a huge dip in voltage, and then a huge spike.
Very bad regulation
back when it came back on. So that's what was doing the damage.
Good call.
Paul, we appreciate very much you sharing that with us. Thank you, Paul. Bye-bye.
So the other thing I want to mention, since we've been talking a lot about UPSs and surge protectors and things, and I know we had the one call from the gentleman about battery replacements. We recycle batteries at Computer Corner as well.
Hey, the Computer Corner show will be back in 2 weeks. Till then, we hope that you'll think of Computer Corner for all your hardware, software, services, and training needs. Remember,
you can do more at the corner. Computer Corner.
until that time, mind your bits and bytes. This is Phil.
And Carol.
And Joe.
Wishing you carefree computing. The Computer Corner radio show is logging off.